good time. As far as say, hey guys, it's Klaus. Yeah, these German tanks, they get no respect. I watched a video a little while ago. Quickie Baby did a video of the worst 10 tanks in the game, and out of the 10 worst by win rate, 5 were German, which is understandable in the balance universe of this game. But let's watch V2 Venegas in his E100. And I'm showing you this because the poor old E100, the once proud Super Heavy, has a tough time having good games these days. Like I said, I watched that. You guys check it out. He did a pretty good video there, Quickie Baby. He looked up all the stats, win rates on all the tanks, and he has one called the worst 10 tanks. I already knew which one the worst one was. I did a video on the worst tank by my opinion, and it's the Churchill gun carrier, and that happens to be the same one that QB picked based on the stats win rate, something like a 45.9% win rate average in the Churchill gun character. But out of the 10 worst tanks in the game, 5 were German. Ridiculous. But there's no Russian bias in this game. I don't think there were any Russian tanks in the 10 worst list. None, actually. And I wonder how many are in the 10 best list. But I haven't watched I don't know if he's done a video on that. But maybe I'll check it out. But anyway, let's watch V2 Venegas. Am I saying your name right? I'm not really sure if I'm saying your name right, but I don't care. Because it's my channel, I can call you whatever I want. I can just call you V2 if I want to. And I think I will, because that's the way, I like it. I'm just kidding, buddy. V2, look at this. Take a shot and probably do almost no damage or miss. And get hit in return. Because that's how it usually goes in this E100. The gun can't hit shit. It has low pen with the regular ammo, and it's one of the only tanks that is weak when you're pointed at the enemy. Like, it has a turret, this big monstrous super heavy, that is the weakest when you're pointed at the enemy. When you point your turret and your gun at the enemy, that is when you are at your weakest. And he got a hit there. Did you hear what I just said, guys? Like, every other tank in the game. I mean, the Russian ones, like, imagine the IS-7. Can you imagine? If it was weak when it was pointed at you, the turret. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's strong either way. Whether it's pointed at you or the side or the rear, it's strong. But can you imagine any Russian tank that's weak with the turret pointed at you? And, well, this tank, this German super, and remember, this is not a medium tank or a light tank, okay? This is a super heavy tank. This is one of the biggest, heaviest, most heavily armored tanks, well, quote unquote, heavily armored tanks in the game. And it is the weakest when its turret is pointed at the enemy. Think about that for a minute. Every time you point, like what he's doing right now, you see he's pointing his gun, and I guess because the gun is attached to the turret, it kind of just happens that, let's see him take this shot. Yeah, and he's actually bounced a couple in return. He's gotten lucky there, but when you actually point your gun at someone, since the gun is attached to the turret, it's just by coincidence the turret happens to be pointed at the enemy, and when your turret is pointed at the enemy, they can shoot it and it's weak. That's how the tank is designed and balanced, because it's not enough that it's slow and big and the lower plate is weak and it's slow and can be circled easily by anyone. When you point at someone, that's when you're weak. Now, of course, if you point at someone like that particular enemy who never really shot back, then it's strong. And I guess that's how it's balanced, right? When you point at Muppets who do not shoot you back, then you are strong. But anyway, enough of the ridiculous commentary here. Let's watch this riveting gameplay. Like, oh yeah, now that the one thing this E100 has is a gun that does a lot of damage. And now, old V2 Venegas. Let's just call you V2. Didn't I already say I was going to call you V2? He's playing it perfect. Oh, look, CDC. He missed. Oh, that's too bad. He's playing it perfectly because, you see, he's shooting, and then he's hidden behind a rock. So he's hidden his lower plate, and he's actually turned his turret so that it's angled. The enemies don't see the front. Now he's pointed at the enemies, and see, they waited for him to point the turret at him. They still bounced, probably because he's far away and they didn't hit the massive front flat spot. That guy didn't miss because he sat still. You see that? Pointed at the enemy is when you're weak. So between shot with the E100. Oh, it is. Look, he's tracked. The thing about the E100, let me, if you own one or if you want to get better in one, this is all you need to know about the E100 if you want to get better. Okay, you heard it here on Klaus's channel. It's not what you do or who you shoot. It's not what you're doing when you're shooting. Okay, with the E100, it's all about. Oh, he's getting penned everywhere now. It's all about what you do between shots, and he did not do the right thing there between shots. He kind of, well, he's surrounded. It's not his fault. It's what you do between shots. Okay. So now he's in between shots. He has to. Let's just watch him take this. Oh, it's another German tank that's weak when it's pointed at you. It's not as weak, but it's still weak. So it's what you do between shots. So you shoot, and during that 16-second reload or whatever it is, it's what you do. You have to turn that turret so that it's, maybe a 30-degree angle at the enemy. You cannot keep looking at the enemy between shots, or you will hate the E100. Everyone will pen you easily. So between shots, you have to angle the hull, you have to hide the lower plate, and you have to angle your turret, which is a lot to remember, especially if you're playing, or used to playing Russian tanks like the IS-7 or any Russian medium tank, where you don't have to remember anything between shots, where you just have to, well, I'm in between shots, I'll just sit here. Oh, they bounced, and then you take another one. With the E100 in between shots, you actually have to think, okay, which way's my turret face? Where are the enemies? They're over here, so I have to angle my turret 30 degrees from the direction they're at, and I have to turn my hull a little bit like this and put this front plate against the rock. You have to remember a lot of things, and if you remember all those things, you will be a great E100 player, and you'll have good games. But if you don't remember that, if you just shoot and then in between shots you keep like looking at the enemy and aiming, then you will suck in your E100, unless you're playing Muppets, in which case, then anyone can be good when you're playing Muppets. But anyways, let's watch the game here, and it's pretty close, and he's been kind of guarding this spot. Oh, lucky there, he bounced a shot, and he has loaded the heat, and he's gone through the Type 4 Heavy. He's loaded heat now, which is the other thing that you may have to do when you're playing D100 to be better than average, is press the number 2 key, because your penetration jumps through the roof when you press number 2. And now he's kind of pinned down. It's not like he can go anywhere. He can't scurry to the other side of the map. He's in a big, slow, lumbering, super heavy tank that's weak when it's pointed at the enemy. Oh, there's an enemy. Okay, you see that, how he turned his turret immediately? He noticed there's an enemy there, and now he has to readjust. He's got his hull. He's going to try and side scrape here, so his hull will be about 30 degrees, his turret about 30 degrees, and he's going to try and bait a shot. He's saying to the guy, shoot me, shoot me. He's not pointed at him. See, now he's pointed at him, and he's taking the shot. Oh, ho, ho, and he took a hit. He pointed at the enemy, he was weak, and he traded. That's all you can do with this thing. It's ridiculous. If you're going to shoot someone that knows what they're doing, as soon as you aim at them, that's the weakest your tank can be. And he got his shot away, and he low rolled, and that guy got his shot away, and he high rolled, and now he's a one shot, and that guy's still alive. So that is the life of an E100, and that is the life of a lot of German tanks, and that's why 5 of them are in the top 10 list of the 10 worst tanks in the game. If you haven't seen that video by Quickie Baby, you should check it out. It's actually I liked it. It was because he went to a website and he did it by statistics. He actually looked at the win rate, and I thought, that's good to know, because I don't have the patience to go look up all that shit. So I'm glad he did. And now let's watch. Oh, this guy made a mistake. Oh. That guy, well, I guess the guy forgot that the E100 was here right after getting hit for 690. He probably thought, He's disappeared off my screen. Maybe he's not there anymore. And he came around. I don't know. You know, I don't say that I understand what these players do. I just do the commenting, you know. It's like when you watch The Animal Kingdom, you see a dog in the park running around chasing his tail. It's not like you know why. You just know that it's one crazy motherfucking dog, right? Well, you know, it's just like players in this game. They get hit, and then 30 seconds go by, and they go, I think I'll be okay now. And they go around the corner, and, oh, he's still there. That's no fair. Oh, well, I don't explain. I don't pretend to understand. I just comment. But now we're watching our E100 here. The German Super Heavy is having to face two, and one of them is a Super Heavy itself, the Type 4, but it's a Tier 9. And one of them is a really fast Object 140, a Russian medium tank that I think could easily win this game. And I'm looking at the last known positions of the enemies, and now has he loaded HE? He has. He has loaded HE because he wants to make sure that he does some damage. He's got a high caliber gun, and he wants to make sure he does not bounce a shot. I think he knows that both these enemies are on low HP, and there he is. The guy's on low HP. He just has to hit him with HE. He's angled the turret. Now, look at that. He's got a shot there, and he shot HE and did 0, because that's what happens, because HE fucks you almost all the time, and that's why I never load it. But he's going to load HE again and give it another shot, and he's taking him out. And where the hell is the Object 140 when his teammate, the Super Heavy, has spotted the enemy, and all he had to do was drive up behind the E100 and shoot him once? Where is that Object 140? Well, who knows? It's like the dog in the park, running around in circles, chasing its tail. You don't know why he's doing that, right? You have no clue. The dog could be frolicking around with the other dogs, but no, he's running around in a circle chasing his own tail because it's one crazy motherfucking dog, right? And you don't know why, you can't explain it, you just watch it and go, boy, what a weird dog. And that's just like this game. Like, where is the Object 140? Nobody knows. No one can pretend to understand. It's one of the fastest tanks, most mobile mediums in the game, but I guess he just decided that, well, he's gonna just spin around in the park and chase his tail for a while, and nobody knows why. And well, let's just see how this ends. Our E100, it would be smart if you just stopped and pre-aimed at that corner, because that's probably where he's gonna come. It's the only way he can get up here. So there, if you were pre-aimed at the corner, the game would be over, but you were not pre-aimed at the corner. So now you've got to fight this guy. Okay, let's see. And he shot him, and of course, the magic track armor on the medium tank saved him. And now watch this, he missed! And the German heavy tank wins the game! Which happens every now and then. And I don't know how that ended like that, but look at these post-game stats. Great results, guy. He got spotting assist because he moved up. And look at this. Shout out to the Object 140. I know I made fun of you, guy, but David, 7 kills. I don't know what happened to you at the end of the game there, man. Maybe you had a bad connection or something happened, or you were so excited that you had 7 kills and you got nervous. But you know, I had to show it because the German tank that is weak when it's looking at you won the game. Watch this. Watch this shot. Boom! It just missed her. The game would have been over, and the German tank comes through, which is nice to see every now and then, right? You know, 5 of them in the top 10 worst tanks in the game.